Half Shell Oyster House offers happy hour at the bar and throughout the restaurant every day from 3 to 6 p.m. Happy hour includes $2 off all glasses of wine, liquor, martinis, mixed drinks, and draft beer, $2.50 on all domestic bottled beer, and $3.50 on all craft bottled beer. So come on out to Half Shell Oyster House, located at 115 Lower Park Cove, Suite 105, Flowood, Mississippi 39232, or you can give them a call at 769-257-7586. And hey, tell them Sonia sent you.
She say sports. She say sports. She say sports. She say sports.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia, and welcome back to She Say Sports. Please welcome back one of the funniest people on this earth, Jackson's very own, my soror, my friend, comedian Rita Brent. What's up, Rita? How you doing, girl?
I'm good. I see Rod got Kobe Bryant in the background, man. It is, you made me sad the whole interview, man. You gotta take it down.
I got Bill Russell on top of that one too. So
Oh my God.
yeah, we're in morning over here.
Oh, right.
I ain't no more helicopters for me.
And absolutely welcome back one of my co-hosts from Legends of the Sipp, New Orleans advocate, Rod Walker. Hi, Rod. What's going on, baby?
Yeah, this is my first time doing one with a non-athlete, but I guess Rita probably was an athlete at some point.
Of course.
You play basketball, right?
Yeah, that's how I end up getting a wife.
What do you mean?
If you play basketball, it's automatic. You're gonna end up liking girls.
You know what?
Oh.
I love basketball and I wanted to play. And my cousin was like, no, don't. You too prissy, don't do it. And so I didn't. Well, I mean,
yeah.
I guess. I don't know how to come back.
That's an accusation. That's not the truth.
I know that is not the truth, y'all. She's a comedian, so that's what she does.
She played on one of the greatest basketball. I mean, one of the greatest programs that ever come through Mississippi, playing under Coach Anna Jackson. So that she must have been,
You were pretty good. Were you pretty good?
Pretty good.
Yeah. I was a great 3-point shooter. I usually played the 1 and the 2. I was pretty fast, but Anna Jackson, she always had her favorites. So
yeah,
that's just part of it,
Right.
And I'll leave it at that.
Absolutely. Well, we're gonna move on. So, Rita, the last time you were on the show, you were gearing up for your final show at the historical Alamo in downtown Jackson, Sipp on This Tea in 2019. You were getting ready to move to New York as well. And you moved to New York and then COVID happened. Yeah. Not long after you arrived. So tell us, what was it like for you to experience the unknown away from your family, from your friends? How was that for you when it first happened? Because we didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, those first few months when I was in New York, I was by myself. My wife hadn't come up there yet.
Right.
So I would literally sit in the apartment and cry a little bit because it was such a culture shock. You get up there, you have to find the subway that you're supposed to be on. That can be very overwhelming, because you have to know how to read the phone and figure out which one. And if it's more than one train, geez, it's a lot. And this is not New York is not a hospitable place, so stopping and asking somebody for directions, that's a no-no. You just don't do that. You just have to figure it out. And so once I just embraced the city for what it is, which was a place for me to really refine my material and get a lot of reps in, I was doing 3 or 4 shows a night, and that is unheard of. I've never been able to do that in the South. And so I said, okay, well, I'm just gonna use the city for what it is. It is an entertainment hub, and it's a great place for networking. It's a lot of amazing comedians there, but the culture of it was a struggle for me, even down to the food. I didn't even really like the food, They didn't have no
Really?
fish fry. No fish fry, no catfish. This is just crazy. I'm like, what is this?
They had
They don't
pizza.
have yards. Yeah, they don't have yards or front porches, you know. They're like, but y'all get called the N-word in the South. Well, we at least have a front porch to run away from the racism. You know, you just gotta be around people rubbing shoulders in New York. So it was a challenge. I like it for what it's good for, but it's not a place I want to live, you know.
Yeah.
But I needed that experience. Yeah. It made me a better comedian for sure.
Absolutely, I bet.
Mhm. Yeah, because everybody's funny. Women, men, and it's all walks of life. It's not like some monotonous type comedian. Like the content is through, it's crazy. The amount of talent that is there, comedically and acting. Yeah, you got to stay on your stuff.
So let me ask you this, because I did this when the first time I went to New York. Did you go down Broadway and sing Broadway by George Benson? Did you? Come on now.
No, I'm a little younger. So New York. Working them.
First of all, you ain't gonna do me. She said,
You said George Benson. I wasn't even born. That's like, was that song made in the 1800s, son? Wait, let me know.
right.
George
This girl
Benson.
just stopped. She said, "No, I'm a little younger. I'll give it you later, Rita. I'll give it you later." Rod, go ahead. Go ahead.
I know, I guess like since the last time you had this show, I mean, you got married. I've been married before. So, I mean, just what's that sort of been like for you? How do you sort of juggle marriage and a career in comedy where you're on the road a lot and all that?
Oh, open communication and having a spouse who is understanding of what you do. Having a spouse who is not competitive.
Yeah.
And having a spouse who understands that with you being my piece, then I'm able to do what I need to do to bring home money, and then I'm peaceful as well. And so that hasn't always been the case in my relationships. Thankfully, she's a creative too, so she gets when I need to go away, just to clear my mind when I need to go away to work. You know, that's exactly what I'm doing, you know.
Yeah.
So she's just very understanding, because she's a ceramicist and an artist, and when she needs to be left alone, I leave her alone. But it can get tough depending on how long I'm on the road, you know, but thankfully I have FaceTime, and sometimes I can bring her along with me. But I am an introvert, so even if you come with me on a trip, I'm still sitting in silence, like we're not finna turn up, you know. So I'm telling her, you can come, but if we driving, I'm listening to comedy, or we driving in silence. When I get to the hotel, I got to turn on Rain and Thunder and practice my set. You know, so it's not glamorous. You know, it's not glamorous. So I just make time for her too. I think that is important as an artist. We can get really caught up in the work because it is so addictive, and you're on the road and you get thirsty, you know. But you still go out on dates and stuff, you know. I just try to create that balance. It is important.
Do you have to, I know a lot of comedians, they use some of their relationship stuff in their material. Do you typically like run it by her, or you just say, hey, you just get on stage and just blindside her?
That's exactly what I do. I just blindside her, and she'll be in the crowd looking like, oh yeah, that's what you gonna talk about on stage? And then sometimes I'll just say some stuff and I'll be like, hey, yo, my wife ain't here. Don't y'all go back and tell her. You know what I'm saying? So when she not in the crowd, oh, I really go in. But when she is, see, I run material by her just in conversation. She don't know that's what I be doing, but I test material on her all the time.
Yeah.
To date, there hasn't been anything that I said where she's just like, come on now, you can't say that. Because I have heard some comedians, I mean, they pretty much defame or insult their spouses. I don't want to do that.
Right.
I'm gonna keep mine in the spirit of comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I met Frida. Actually, it was like 2 days after my birthday. And when was y'all anniversary? Like that day?
Yep, 22nd.
Yeah, my birthday is the 20th, and she seems very patient. And you have to be, being an artist, and you said she deals with ceramics, so that takes a lot of patience. And so I think that can go over into a marriage, and it's a good thing to have, because the Bible tells us to, you know, learn how to be patient. So that's a good thing.
Kind. Yes.
Hey, Rita, there's a song called Ceramic Girl, by the way. I'm sure it's before your time, but it's by Ready for the World. You should play it for Frida to play it for you.
What year?
Never, I've
Was it
never
probably-
heard of that.
1800s?
You never heard Ceramic Girl?
No,
I was a big
not ready for the
fan.
world.
It's probably like 85, 86.
Oh yeah.
I send it to you when we get off of this.
Oh, she was.
I don't know what the
really-
lyrics are about, but
She was with Jesus then, for real. 85.
Yeah, that's the late 1900s. I was being conceived. Yeah, I was born in 87. So
oh yeah, you weren't even okay.
Oh yeah. Wow. I never
I'll
heard-
check it out though.
So Rita, you've been writing for a lot of shows lately. The Emmy Awards last year, the CMAs, which is the Country Music Awards for some who don't know, and something very special to both our hearts because we're both musicians, the Grammys. How have those opportunities been for you, and how are you taking them in stride?
Well, first of all, I had to learn the difference between the CMAs and the ACMs. I wrote for the Academy of Country Music Awards because
Oh,
I thought
really?
they were the same thing.
So it's
the
not.
same talent. No, it's not the same thing.
Oh, so
Same talent. It's like BET Awards and the Soul Train Awards. You know what I'm saying? You
okay.
can't people.
Thank you for clearing that up for me. Okay.
Yeah, so one thing is you got to learn and do some research and be prepared going in because I don't follow country music like that, you know. So
Right.
even the interview when he was asking, well, who are your favorite country music artists? I was on Google like,
Charlie Pride.
yeah, I was like, I don't know, Migos. But I figured it out. When opportunities come, you just have to do what you need to do to meet the moment.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not going to be prepared for everything that comes my way, but nothing stops me from getting prepared. I remember I did
Right.
the TEDx Jackson and I had to do a TED talk. And imposter syndrome came to self-doubt. I was like, well, you can't do a TED talk. And then God quickened my spirit and was like, well, there's nothing stopping you from preparing a TED talk. Just do it.
Right.
If the opportunity comes and you want to do it, go ahead and do what's required to meet the moment. And so that's just what I've been doing, you know, and I have had to fight the self-doubt and questioning if I belong in the room because I'm typically the baby in the room. The Emmy Awards was my first award show writing room, the Emmy Awards. And so I'm in there with people who wrote for In Living Color and they've written for Chris Rock and Eddie Murphy. And I'm just in there like, hi guys, you know? So it's like finding your strength and really like laying into that. What is my strength? What is my strong point? What can I do to contribute? As opposed to thinking like I'm competing with these folks because you are a team. So I just have to find where I fit in. And that's what I've been doing.
Rita, how hard is that for you to do as you mentioned earlier that you're an introvert?
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of comedians probably are introverts. You don't really realize that, you don't think that, but how do you overcome your introvertness? Which I know is not a word.
Too bad I don't smoke weed. That probably would loosen me up a little bit. I pray and I am an over preparer. So if I know I'm going to be in a situation where I'm going to be uncomfortable or I'm dealing with social anxiety, I just try to do as much as I can to prevent those feelings. So I may play a conversation in my head before I get to the room. It's like, okay, I know this person's going to be there. This person is going to be there. These are the questions, or this is the topic that I'm going to discuss with this person. So it's just preventative techniques, you know,
Yeah.
whatever you do to prevent the awkwardness. Once I get there, I'll just try to be preventative with that. And, you know, sometimes God just works it out to where I end up talking with people one-on-one. It's the big groups that bothers me because it gets, you know, it gets really competitive. You can tell folks are fighting for attention and I'm just not going to do that. And so I just ask God, if it's meant for me to have a one-on-one with this person, God, please provide that opportunity. And then it works out that way. So I think I am under just like divine intervention all the time.
Yeah.
And as long as I don't interfere in what is designed divinely for me, then I'll be fine.
I
If
agree.
I just trust the path.
Speaking of one-on-one, some of those writing opportunities came your way, I believe, through the help of Cedric Entertainer. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Tell us about your relationship with him, and are you guys going to be working on some more things in the near future?
Yes. What happened with me and Sid, I met him 2019. I had just opened for him. We were connected through somebody and I opened for him in Killeen, Texas.
Mhm.
And I guess his manager liked what he saw and said, okay, I want to put you on some more shows. And then June, it had to be 2020. What year is this? That's June 2020.
2020. Mhm.
June 2021, we went to Naples, Florida at this club called Off the Hook. And it was a 2-man show. It was me and Sid. I did not know this. I'm sorry.
Wow.
It's just me and Sid. All white people, Trump country. Didn't know that either. So
Wow.
really adjust my material. And anyway, when I get off stage, I watch Sid because I'm not a veteran. So that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to watch the legend and learn. So I watched Sid and I was taking notes during his set, like, ooh, I could punch that up, and ooh, it may be funny if he said that. And the introvert in me, I didn't say these things to him when he got off stage. I texted it to him. I was like, hey, I got some punch-ups for you. Here you go. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. The next night he used them and they all worked. And when he got off stage, he was like, yeah, you know, that stuff you sent me, it worked out, yeah. That's all he said. I was like, okay. And then 3 months later, his manager called and was like, hey, Sid wants you to write for him for the Emmys. I was like, whoa. So he was like internalizing, okay, I guess she can write. And from that, he hired me for the Emmys, you know? So once again, God knows me. He knows that I wasn't gonna tell Sid, hey man, I think you should say this on the joke. I just sent it to him, you know? And now I do it all the time. You know, if I hear something, I just send it to him and he'll work it out. So
Wow.
that's the kind of relationship we have. We're communicative. It's not a lot of words, but it's a lot of respect. You know, I often tell people Cedric is much different than Rickey. Rickey is very expressive. Rickey will pick me up and twirl me around, and you know, he gonna tell stories. He wants you over the house. He gonna cook for you. I done had his chicken.
Right. I saw y'all.
Yes, Rickey is very expressive because he's Southern. You know what I'm saying? He's
from the South. Yeah.
Churchy. And Sid is like a king who approves of you, but you don't know until you know.
But you see how he put you on ice for 3 months? He said, okay, cool. But 3 months later, you get, hey, Sid wants you to write for him. You know, that's so freaking dope because, like you said, he's a king. They're not saying Rickey is not, because he's a king in his own right, but it's a difference because it's just different. That's all. I'll just leave it at that. So yeah,
they have completely different personalities,
right?
The same level of influence and absolutely the same impact, but they are just different, you know. But I am the same, and I think they see that. I am always humble. I am always professional. I'm always appreciative, and I don't ask for anything. I appreciate what you provide for me, what you give me, but I don't ask for anything, you know, unless I really, really need it. But yes, I will be doing some more stuff with Sid. It's still in the works, so I won't make any announcements yet. Okay. But yeah, top of 2023, you're supposed to be doing something big.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you also met legendary comedian, she tickles me, Wanda Sykes.
Oh yeah.
What was going through your head when you met her?
Now that is a time where me being an introvert worked against me. I kind of froze because I met Wanda. She and her partner Paige, they were over this thing called the LGBTQ Netflix Standout Special. That's what I was writing for. And I was working with the choir, and Wanda came up to me and was like, oh, I heard about everything you're doing. I hear you're amazing. You work with the choir. And then she just stood there like she wanted to have a conversation, and I was not prepared to have a conversation. I was just expecting for her to meet me and then leave because there were other people there, you know, that were on her level. Right. And so she's like, yeah, you know, we're working on some productions, and it was totally my time to pitch. And I blew it because I was just in shock, and I didn't have anything prepared because I'm not an opportunist. So I didn't have it in my head that I'm going to pitch something to you. I just wanted to be in her presence, you know, but I didn't expect her to stand there and talk to me for 5 minutes.
and I get it. I know you're not an opportunist, and that is true. I've been knowing Rita for about 8 years now, and she's been the same person all the time. I know you're not, but when you get those opportunities, those are God opportunities.
Yeah, he got to provide me another one.
Yeah, he gonna provide another one because I get it. You know, when I first met Layla, I never was like, oh my God, you know, it was just, we chilled, and I knew that was a God thing because that's one of my favorite artists of all time. You know, we cool today, so I get it. It's gonna happen again.
Yeah, my prayer is that God will just keep me on people's hearts when they're thinking about things. Good. You know,
I like that.
keep me on their hearts, keep me in their mind. I know who I can call for this. I remember that girl. I'm fine with being that person. You remember that girl? That's me.
You know what? I like that prayer. I'm gonna add that. I like that, Rita. I like that. So something else big happened to you this summer, and you were not expecting this. Look how you're looking around.
What?
You made it on P Valley this summer.
Yeah.
Tell the listeners what happened with that.
So, well, when I was working on the Charlemagne show, I actually got an opportunity to go for a role on P Valley.
Really?
My schedule was not good. And at the time, it was like a trans person role. And I know that's been a little weird, people who don't identify as trans, or if you don't identify as something that you shouldn't, that people say you shouldn't go for that role. So that kind of, I was like, I don't know if I should go out for this role. And I saw the person who got the role, and I was like, well, hell, I could have done that. But anyway, they started messaging, they kept messaging, was like, hey, we need some commercials to play in the background and these different scenes. Can we play your Patty Pet commercials? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And they did. They played it a couple times. Now, the first time it was so quick, I think people missed it. But the second time, the commercial had more screen time. Even though I was on mute, it was still like a big deal for
I
me.
laughed so hard. I was like, this girl done made it to P Valley.
Hey, Reed, I want to know if they had given you another role, what would your stripper name have been?
Oh.
I don't know, man. I'm like butterscotch. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah. Ease on down the pole. You know what I mean? Butterscotch.
Hey, they don't ease on down the pole on P Valley though.
No, ma'am.
They drop it. They drop it from the ceiling.
Scary, don't it?
And they be, you would have to do more to ease on down.
First of all, I can't do any pole moves. So I would be the one picking up the money off the ground. That's me.
Right.
I'm the groundskeeper.
Hilarious. Speaking of, it's not in the same vein, but sort of kind of. You wrote a song and you did a video this summer, do the Hoochie Daddy.
Yeah.
What was it like making that video, first of all, with those clowns? Because I knew some of them. What brought this song on?
Okay, I'll tell you. Oh, and also I wrote a song for Stephanie Luckett called Any Place, and it made placement on P Valley too. So I was really proud for that.
What?
We're proud of Stephanie.
What show?
Which episode? I don't know. It's on P Valley. I don't know which episode it's on, but
I'll send her a message and ask her.
Yeah, so I was happy for Stephanie because
congratulations, Stephanie.
Yes, I write songs, and I wrote that song way back, and then Stephanie just took it and made it her own. So that's a blessing too. And I don't know. I hope Hoochie Daddy can make P Valley, or Can You Write Me Like a Pothole? But
that's my jam right there.
Gerald Jabot, who's with B-Day 99.1, he just messaged me randomly one day. It was like, you need to make a Hoochie Daddy song because it's Hoochie Daddy season. I wasn't super familiar. I heard Hoochie Daddy, but I didn't really know what it was. And once I kind of dug into it, I was like, oh, this is funny. It's just dudes wearing their shorts a little short like they used to do back in the day.
Right.
I hit up two of my homies who are producers, S.C. Jones Jr. and Uric Primer, very talented musicians. I said, I need some Southern Soul songs. And they sent me that one, and I was like, this is the one. And so I wrote it. The hook was different a couple times. And then when I got it, I was like, okay, this is it. And I put a call out on Facebook. I said, I need 10 fine Hoochie Daddies. I got 400 comments on that post. So I had to go through one by one and scout Hoochie Daddies. So I was looking at thigh meat to see who's thigh meat.
Oh, that's why I didn't get invited. Okay, now it makes sense.
No, so Rob,
I didn't have enough thigh meat.
On there?
Huh?
Go ahead, Rita.
He ain't asked to be in the video.
Well, I ain't got no thigh meat, so I ain't got enough thigh meat. I wouldn't have made it.
Do you have some Hoochie Daddy shorts?
Not really, but I mean, I could have made it happen.
Yeah.
Made it happen.
Yeah, and some people have tried to make it controversial, like, oh, you're pushing an agenda. One older guy, he said it was gay if a guy wears his shorts over his knees. He was like, you a man, you're supposed to wear pants. And I've seen a few hateful comments, and I'm just like, y'all so silly. It's clothes.
It's clothes.
And Rod, the NBA players, they used to wear coochie cutters damn near.
They did. I liked it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like men work out. How come they can't show their legs off too? I like to see a nice little strong leg. You know what I'm saying?
She said a little strong.
That's all we doing is celebrating men's bodies, just like women celebrating their bodies. And that's what I say in the song. All it means is you're comfortable in your own skin. And so it's doing well, man. On Instagram, it's like 330,000 views. And
Wow.
I got to get into the radio and DJs and figure out how to blow it up. But, it's out there. It's doing its thing.
And
Hey, Rita, did you see yourself? Go ahead, son.
Go ahead, Ron.
No, I was gonna ask you, would you say that Jamie Foxx is someone who's sort of influenced you? And I'm just asking him because he's like this really multi-talented guy who
Yeah.
music, comedy, act, he does a little bit of everything. Has he influenced you at all, or you're not really even a big Jamie guy?
Oh,
Girl.
no.
Jamie.
I love Jamie. I often get called a female Jamie Foxx, which is a compliment because he plays music on stage and he
Right.
hop out and do comedy. He does impressions. I can do impressions. I haven't figured out the acting thing just yet, but yeah, I love the Jamie Foxx comparisons. And for the show Saturday, that's what I'm doing. It's about 60% comedy, 40% music for the first time. Like I'm really getting in and out because I have for a long time wanted to mesh both because I'm equally passionate about music as I am comedy. But people want to limit you to one thing.
Yeah.
Right.
They struggle with the idea that somebody is a multi-hyphenate artist. They just want you to just be this. And I'm like, nah, but I'm more than this. So
That's right.
just glad to deal with it.
And speaking of Saturday, this weekend is your first show at home since 2019. This show is called Raised in the Sipp. You have two shows, one night, this Saturday, September 17th at Duling Hall in Fundren. However, as of Sunday, guys, the show is sold out. It's sold out. And congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Did you ever imagine when you did that amateur night back in 2014 that your city, your state would show you this much love? Like this, like sold out shows. Like, did you ever think that'd happen?
I did not foresee that. I did not foresee going this far in comedy, period. When I first started, I was just thinking, oh, this is cool. This is fun. But I didn't see the light because Mississippi is not a comedy place,
Right.
But I can say that Mississippi is a place that really does comfort and support you no matter what you're doing. Because I talk about this. I started out as a musician and then I shifted to radio and I shifted to comedy. And so people have come in contact with me from all these different walks because I meet people today and they're like, oh, I remember you used to play drums. You a comedian too? Or I meet people and they're like, you a comedian? So I can say that Mississippians have always been very supportive and I consider myself blessed to have progressed in Mississippi because now that I've lived outside of the state, I see that it is much harder to survive, literally survive.
Yeah.
Because New York was very expensive and some comedians have 4 and 5 roommates just trying to make ends meet because it's just so expensive. So I think that God knew what he was doing by allowing me to figure myself out in Mississippi as an artist. And the support has always been there. It's pretty big now, but it's always been there. And it also, I think, may just be a testament to my humility and love for people. Now, people will try to put you on the pedestal. I'll walk into a room and somebody like, well, what you doing with the little people? And I'm like, that's not me. I don't consider anybody little.
That's right.
We all have our own gifts. We all have our own talents. And I think people sense the humility and the genuine love when they meet me. And that support. I don't get on Facebook whining about who's supporting me and who's not supporting me. Why would I even give people attention who aren't supporting me? I'm going to show love to the people who are. And so, the feeling of love is mutual. And I think that's what leads to sold out shows and stuff like that. When I meet people in the grocery store and show my humanness, folks like, oh, I'm gonna keep supporting this girl because she's kind. She ain't one of them with the beef,
Right. That's true. And and you may, like, why would you give them any light, the ones that aren't supporting you? When you love to do something, it doesn't matter. You're not doing it for the support. You're doing it because you love to do it. The
Yes.
support will come. So I totally agree with all of that. Um, why do you think it's important for you to let people know your roots and being raised in the SIP?
Well, the narratives are so bad about the state.
Yeah.
I just want to prove people differently. I want to prove them wrong. Chris Rock has a whole bit about Mississippi, and I'm going to talk about it at my show Saturday because it pissed me off.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan of Chris Rock, but to just hear him speak so badly about the state, and I think he might have visited once or twice, it hit me because I'm of this state. My ancestors are of that state. My grandmother's still alive. My big mama, she picked cotton in Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? So when you talking about the state, you talking about them, how I was reared, why I am who I am today.
Right.
So that's why it's important. And I don't know a state that doesn't have a complex history. I can't name one. I cannot name a state that is without fault or without sin or some kind of history, something in their history that they're ashamed of.
Right.
Somehow we are the face of that. And it most often comes from people who haven't been here or don't do nothing for the state,
That's true.
So I just want to prove people wrong. I get the narratives. Some of them are well-deserved, because I'm going to call folks out. Tate Reeves and Phil Bryant stealing welfare money, and Tate Reeves anti-abortion, calling Mississippi Trump country. They do say some embarrassing things, and I get it. But there are some people in the state who are trying to make it better. And that's important to me, that I don't show any shame, because I'm not ashamed.
That's right.
The goal is to grow and not stay where you are.
I agree. Speaking of that, our city has been making national news for the last couple of weeks because of this water situation we've been in for quite some time. A lot of people thinking this just happened, but the infrastructure and the water situation, this has been going on for decades. However, it's come to a head, and it's really bad. So people are coming in. Matter of fact, Rod, didn't the Saints and Deuce McAllister, what did they do?
Yeah, they teamed up earlier this week, and they were just getting water delivered to the city of Jackson. I think it was 78,000 bottles of water, which I don't know. In the grand scheme of things, I don't know what kind of impact it is, but I think everybody's trying to pitch in and do their part. And I know the Saints and Deuce and Rouse's grocery stores here tag team.
Yeah. Yeah, Super Scent, John P. Key did a show on Saturday in Broadwater. It's everywhere you go, the National Guard has come. And so what are your thoughts on the water situation in Jackson and the politics around it? You already skirted around the politics part, but what are your thoughts about all of it?
Yeah, people been calling me, like, yo, ain't you from Jackson? I said, no, I'm from Jacksonville. Now, I'm from Jacksonville for that. No, I'm kidding. The mayor said something in one of his press briefings the other day, and he said, unity, not division. And, well, not division, that's 3 words, but they hold a lot of power. Because what I see is a bunch of blaming. I see a bunch of people talking noise who haven't run for any positions.
Yeah.
So easy to do this all day.
Keyboard warriors.
It's so easy to do this, to critique and give backlash, but you ain't ran for nothing. Do you think a man puts himself in the forefront, puts his family in the forefront to fail?
Right.
Who among us would do that? Who would take a position to fail at it on purpose? So what I think is what he thinks, which is that we should unite and hold people accountable who have been denying us resources and pointing the blame and all of that. Let's just unite, because the focus should be on the people who are suffering, the businesses who are suffering, residents who are suffering. Just like the mayor said, nobody cares about the political dissension. Nobody cares about that. They want clean water to drink and bathe in. It said you can shower, but shower with your mouth closed. So I'm in the shower.
Look.
Oh,
Me
you know
too.
what I'm saying?
And that's, did you say you want to break my soul?
Yeah. I got the loofah. You know what I mean? So let's stay focused on the people.
Right.
And we know the history, it varies.
Mhm.
It's some environmental racism.
Oh,
It's a lot of factors, but we got to focus on the now, what we can do now to get
absolutely.
through this crisis. Because once again, it's embarrassing.
Very.
And the whole world is watching. You know, I don't mean to be mean, but when that queen lady died, the Elizabeth, I was like, good, they can stop talking about Jackson. Just focus on something else. Focus on the queen. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. Now they can stop talking about Jackson for 5 minutes.
Well, we made Shade Room again yesterday. So
I saw
yeah, you
Shade,
saw that. Yeah.
all the news sources, you know.
It's
So,
just
but sometimes you need something to make national attention.
no,
for
we
some-
needed this to get some help.
Yeah,
We needed
because
it.
we know if Madison was the capital city of Mississippi, we wouldn't be having these issues.
No, ma'am.
It's the fact that it's Jackson and they equate Jackson with blackness. And
Mhm.
so there's a difference in how people respond to us. But if Madison was the capital city, that water pump would be trimmed in silver and gold. We wouldn't have no
Mhm.
issue.
None.
We have water slides in the city, white river rafting. We have all kinds of stuff if Madison was the capital city.
That's
So
true.
yeah, we just got to focus on the people, because what I don't want to do is lose businesses.
Mhm.
That was
Exactly.
that would suck. And I know they are struggling right now. So the state, the government, everybody needs to come together. I don't even think the state, the government, the federal government should be sending money to the state. I don't think they should send that money to take, because that's just like sending child support money to a trifling baby mama. You know what I'm saying?
She's using it for
Buy
Prada and right.
About her a Birkin and maybe a pack of pencils. So we need to have an overseer for this money, because they still in welfare money. They're still.
That's
water-
true. And you're absolutely right. And speaking of politics and all of them, she says sports under my brand. She says she does. We're having a voters registration drive September 27th from 9 to 1 at the Jackson Medical Mall in front of Piccadilly. So if you know anybody who is not registered and would like to be registered before the fall elections, please bring them. Please bring them. Again, we're there from 9 until 1. I'll have a flyer and get more information out later for that, but I wanted to bring that up since we were talking about it. But you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Rod, you wanted to go ahead with the Rod?
Yeah, I'm here.
You want?
No, I thought you were going into the,
No, I
Give
thought
it
you were going to talk about the Tigers.
oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. Really, I'm not sure if you went to Miami or Memphis, or you did?
I went to Miami, yes. I didn't go
Went
to
to Miami?
Miami. I went to sleep, and then I had to host a party that night, but I was there.
All right, well, just want to kind of get your thoughts on, you're a proud Jackson State alum, and just your thoughts on how they're doing and the work that Coach Sanders has done, Coach Prime has done in his time in Jackson.
Oh, it's great. Dion is like the Black Jesus of Jackson right now. It's great. You know, I mean, you got to be Black Jesus anytime you got people giving a regular Black man millions of dollars, you know. I don't know. It is amazing. And you know he's doing something good because Nick Saban was so upset.
Yes, we said the same thing on the show.
Yeah, he's paying to take our it's almost like he's like, how you gonna steal my Negroes? Those are mine.
Those are my Negroes.
Yeah, how you gonna steal my property? That's what it felt like.
Yeah, it was.
But he's changing the culture. It's good to see. He done changed the school color and everything. I ain't even know we had red in our school colors.
We did
Y'all know?
years ago. We did. We did.
Okay. Yeah, he got a lot of influence. They gonna want him to run for mayor next. He better be careful. Yep, they may just deem him the mayor. They may not even make people vote. But I am excited. I'm excited that players are looking at us and they're coming here. That's why our water situation needs to be good.
Yeah.
So we don't have any kind of hindrances, you know. But it is a blessing because PWIs have been able to exploit the talents of our Black players for so long. You know, they've been able to offer them cars and houses and take care of their families and bring them. And now it's like we're taking our talent back where they are appreciated. You know, if you are an HBCU player, you lose a game, we still gonna support you. If you at a PWI, you lose a game, they're gonna call you the N-word. You like, I wasn't the N-word last week when I scored 6 touchdowns.
Right.
You won now. And so I think the players will feel a sense of family and togetherness that they would not have felt at the PWI, and just a sense of soul and Southern heritage, you know. So I'm excited. I hope Dion stays for as long as he can. I see they're pulling him in different directions.
Yeah.
But this has been a blessing, and I'm glad he's at Jackson State. Oh man, am I glad.
I am too. Well, all I can say is I know he's not going to stay forever, but he said that God sent him here. So until God tells him to leave, you know, despite anything, you know, obstacles, I'm praying that he stays until his time is up. So, you know, and not any quicker than that. So
I think he's enjoying the attention.
He loves what he's doing right now. He's loving it. Yeah.
To come in and be a change maker like this, and to have so many different eyes on us, you know, P. Diddy and LeBron James, like, whoa, this is amazing. It's a transformative moment.
It is.
I'm excited, and I hope the players are able to reap the benefits from this connection with him, you know, opportunities that they would not have had Prime not been here or had that light not been shown on Jackson State. So it's a beautiful time. Our pride is through the roof.
That's true. It's through the roof. What's so funny, I'm gonna move quickly. Yesterday I was in my office, and 2 Alkanites, they were talking, and they was talking about, you know, what's going on with this team. So I turned around, I was like, hi guys. And it was like, they started laughing. I was like, you know, I remember a few years ago, maybe 3, you guys were dogging the crap out of me. And I said, every time, you know, every day I stood up for my school, they was like, yeah, you never wavered. You kept, you know, pushing Jackson State. I said, now I ran to my car and cried because I was hurt. We were losing. I'm not used to us losing like that. I said, but I never stopped loving my school. I said, I'm telling y'all that don't stop loving your school. Just keep, they was like, oh, you know, they're definitely going to keep pushing them. And I'm loving the fact that Eddie George and Coach Prime played this past weekend. Now this weekend we're playing Grambling, and Coach Hugh Jackson, who also played in the NFL. So I'm loving that these NFL players are being, you know, Black NFL players are becoming coaches at our SWAC and our HBCU schools. It's great for the kids to see, because they can, like, I can do that too. So
oh yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful time.
It's awesome. So Rita, before we go, I have a new segment called It Goes Down in the DM, and you're our first guest that we're trying this on. And I had some great questions, but one person, oh my gosh, he is a huge fan of yours, and he sent me like 5. And I was like, I'm not gonna do all 5. You know, Charles Bishop, he's with the pregame show. And he was like just freaking out when he found out I was doing this. He was like, I love it. So let's start real quick. Let me get you in real quick and out.
Okay.
The first question, do comedians need some form of pain or hurt to truly be a great comedian?
Yes. I got funnier when I got divorced.
Oh, your first marriage, yeah.
Yep, because I had some real stuff to talk about and some relatable stuff to talk about. So yes, yeah. And we have an advantage in that sense, where some people, they go through pain and all of that, and they just got to deal with it how they deal with it. But we get to talk about it on stage, and that's our release. And I think we help people cope with their issues too, because there's folks in the crowd going through the same thing.
That's true.
So I will say the pain has helped the content.
Well, one part of your pain, which it tickles me every time you do that joke, when you say your ex-husband called you and was like, so what you wearing? You was like, basketball shorts, a wife beater. And I'm like, I'm crying. you know, he want her to talk sexy, and she like, my voice deeper than his, you know. So
Yes.
that is one of my favorites.
Yeah, like he was like, hello. I was like, hello. He was like, is it an echo? I was like,
It's all me.
Oh,
So,
baby, it's me. What's up? So
oh
that's
man,
one
that
of-
man is so much better off without me. I'm so happy.
That's one of my favorites. I ain't kidding. So the next one he had, comedy is an art form, and as Erica Badu pointed out, artists are sensitive about our ish. Have you ever written a joke you knew would kill, but it didn't receive the laughter you wanted?
Oh yeah, that happens all the time.
Hmm.
But that's the only way we can find out what works and what doesn't. You have to- it's best to try it in an open mic, you know, where the stakes are low. I try not to do too much new material when I'm getting paid, because that's just not
Right.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we gotta bomb, and that's our term. You have to bomb and see what works and what doesn't work, and then you keep the good stuff and you discard the bad stuff.
Hey, Rita, do you find yourself like when you're on stage, are you gauging the audience to sort of see if, you know, you're thinking like, okay, this joke probably not gonna work with this group of old white men. Like they probably not gonna get this joke I'm talking about, whatever I'm talking about. Do you have to do that in the middle of a show is what I'm saying, or do you sort of know before you step out on stage?
I'm usually
in New
scouting
York.
the stage before I go out. You know, I'm looking around like, oh, okay, I see some elderly people. Oh, okay, young people, you know. And so I have the jokes categorized in my head, you know. So this is how it looks in my head. Political jokes, racial jokes, white jokes, church jokes. You know, that's how it looks in my head.
Okay.
And I just have to spit them out. And sometimes, you know, I'm in the middle of a set and I'll go one direction and it gives me more feedback than I thought, and I'll keep going that direction, you know. But yeah, you got to be willing to pivot, man.
Right.
And it's different when I'm hosting and when I'm headlining. When I'm hosting, I'm the first one out the gate, and so I'm setting the tone. They kind of looking at me funny because they may not know who I am. But when I'm headlining and people are coming to see me, it's a lot more grace and a lot more interest because they know who I am and typically, and they're just automatically more receptive. But it's hard work.
How tough is that? Like when you're on a show with a lot of other comedians though, and let's say this weekend, like there'll probably be a lot of Queen Elizabeth jokes and Jackson water. I guess people may joke about the water situation in Jackson maybe, but is that tough if you're last and you gotta like worry about somebody doing similar material? You know what I'm saying? Like
that can be tough. Like when I'm opening up for Sid or some other headliner, I'll ask them what topics you want me to stay away from. They don't always listen to the comedians ahead of them. So it's real awkward when I have talked about something and kind of made the same punchline and then they get up there and do it to the audience. It's like, weren't listening. So whenever I'm on a show with a bunch of comedians, I'm always listening for that reason, to make sure that I'm not being repetitive. And then I'll just go in a different direction. But Saturday, I've already talked to Nardo and Merck, like, yo, this is what I'm talking about, you know, and they were like, okay, this is what we're talking about. These are our angles. But I also have learned to not go for the lowest hanging fruit, which is what you may see on social media, you know, everybody's making the same joke. I don't want to tell that one because that's not challenging.
Right. That's good. Okay, one more from him, and then I got one more from another person. Where am I? Is social media comedy stars like Big Ja, Country Wayne, etc., competition for traditional stand-up comics? And can monetization of YouTube cheat the traditional stand-up comics?
Well, monetization on any social media platform is a blessing.
Okay.
We spend our whole lives on these apps. So being able to monetize the content is really good. I don't do it as much as I should because I'm just tired of being a content machine.
Yeah.
Just perform in person and let that be good enough. I don't want to have to post on TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
I would rather just perform live and get it over with. So competition, well, technically they are competition when you're trying to get into comedy clubs. Because what happens is you have comedians who did not do social media comedy. They're just like comedians who have done it traditionally. They're not getting in these rooms because they don't have the following. And that's kind of heartbreaking because it's like, but I'm funny. I know I'm funny. And sometimes the social media comedians will bring a veteran comedian on to headline the show because they know they're funny, and then the social media comedian will host. But there are some social media comedians who are funny. They're taking the craft of stand-up comedy seriously,
Yeah.
and they're funny. They're making good use of their following. So, you know, they aren't doing anything wrong. They're just taking advantage of the times. And it is a little battle between non-social media comedians and the traditional ones because like, oh, we came up on Def Jam, you know, yeah. It's a little battle, you know,
Yeah.
but I'm like, you either work with them or you gonna get dusted.
Right. And speaking of traditional comedians, we lost a big one, David A. Arnold, on last week. Such a huge loss. I really love watching him and his family, his wife and his girls, and him talk about his children. I'm gonna miss him so much. Did you ever get a chance to meet him? And what are your thoughts on that loss in the comedic era?
I did not get a chance to meet him, unfortunately, but that one hit me harder than I thought. I mean,
Wow.
the night it happened, I was just in shock. I saw the name and I was like, wait, not David, you know, I just
That's what I
couldn't,
said.
I just couldn't believe it. I was just like shell shocked. And that next day, I could not get out of the bed. I could not. I was resisting grieving and I was about to get out of the bed and God was like, no, let it out. And so I just cried for a good 15, 20 minutes. I cried and I prayed and I cried and I prayed. And then I got up and I listened to his special, Fat Ballerina, and
Yeah.
latest one he did, This Ain't For the Weak. And I watched other comedians' tributes to him. I mean, there were grown male comedians crying on Facebook and Instagram Live about this man, which is just a testament to how gargantuan he was in the lives of people in comedy, how he helped them, and how he was so honest, and how he was so pleasant and kind and giving and loving. And that's the kind of legacy you want to leave. I think maybe God just felt, I want you to leave here because we don't know what's coming or what could come, you know? So, I mean, imagine R. Kelly had just died after Bump and Grind. We wouldn't even be in all of this stuff right now, you know?
You know what?
What if he just died after Ignition or Feeling on Your Boot? What if he had just died then? He would have just been up here, you know what I'm saying?
Did you say feeling on your booty?
Yeah. What if he had just died at his prime? But because he kept living, he lived long enough, and now his legacy is compromised. But anyway, off R. Kelly. David died here. You know, people kept saying he was about to go here, he was about to go there. But that last special, it showed where he came from and where he was. He had overcome drug addiction. He got here. And God told me, he was like, David did enough. Because he was thinking, well, they hadn't done enough. It was still so much for him to do. But God told me that David did enough. And you see it in the tributes. So that's tough. It's been a tough for comedians, period. Teddy Ray passed and he was my age. Jack Knight passed. He was my age and he was doing amazing things too. So I know people got to go, but man, it sure is tough when it happens.
It's tough. It's tough.
But they are leaving some real legacies, you know. And it's just beautiful to see people giving him his flowers. And they gave him his flowers while he was here too. And I think
that's awesome. Last question. How do you know, and this is from Angelina Jefferson, how do you know when it's time to leave your full-time job to work full-time on your dream? And what are your thoughts now after having moved from a regular 9-to-5 to follow your dream of being an entertainer full-time?
Oh, how do you know? You have to listen to the Holy Spirit, or whatever is the equivalent of the Holy Spirit to you. You have to listen to it, because that's what I did. It was a constant nudging. Every day I felt it. It was a constant nudging that, hey, you're settling, you're complacent. I just kept hearing it. You're settling, you're complacent, both shoulders. And one shoulder was like, but you got good benefits. It's a good state job. You got insurance, you know? And
stability,
stability. And I said, no, I'm listening to the Holy Spirit. God is telling me there's more for me, and I'm going to trust that. And I did. And now it's not going to be the same for everybody. People have children. I don't have any children.
Yeah.
My situation was different. I didn't have any responsibilities like that. So I wouldn't say be impulsive, have a plan. But once you quit, you will have more of a drive and ambition because you're depending on yourself. And you
Right.
free up your mind and heart to be able to do more things. When you
Mhm.
have a 9 to 5, you literally can't. You are at work all day, you get off, you do your routine, and then you go back and do the same thing the next day. When
Mhm.
you're an entrepreneur, you get to set your own schedule, your own routine. But it's being hard. It is hard. I knew being an entrepreneur was going to be hard when I tried to spell entrepreneur. Yep, you can't be what you can't spell. It's hard. If I
Would
tell
you speak that again one more time? Say that again.
you can't be what you can't spell. Rod,
That-
try to
that's
spell
free.
entrepreneur right now. Don't
I'm not
hesitate.
doing it.
Huh? See what I mean? It's like spelling September or Wednesday, you know.
Yeah, I
it's-
don't think I can spell it.
that's what I'm saying.
I'll type that one in and just let the spell correct fix it for me.
It's hard. It's not hard. It's hard, but it's rewarding.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was spelling, but go ahead.
Untra, UNTRA,
That ain't it.
newer, NEWER.
That ain't it, sis.
So yes, it's hard, but it is rewarding, and it fluctuates.
Yeah.
It's seasonal. Sometimes I have seasons of many fruits, and then sometimes I have weeds,
Mhm.
and it's all right. I use the time where the season is not in full bloom to rest and get my mind right for what's to come. But rest is essential too. You think you should be a workaholic when you're an entrepreneur, you got to rest too. That's essential.
true.
Resting is your way of saying thank you to your body. So
Awesome.
listen to the Holy Spirit and know that it's going to be hard, but it's rewarding.
I love it. Great advice. Sis?
Hey, Saint, can I ask her one more question?
Yes.
So I wore this shirt just because I knew we had Rita on the show today. But if you could have
I see it.
just one of these comedians to be on your show, and obviously some of them are no longer with us, but if you could have one of these comedians on your show Saturday, who would it be? And I don't know if you can even see all of
That's
them.
dope. That's Richard Pryor, Fred Sanford, Eddie, Chris Rock, Bernie Mac, Dave Chappelle, Robin Harris.
Can you
I
see the
can't
rest of
see
them?
the ones at the bottom. Okay, Dick Gregory, Bill Cosby, and I can't see who that is on the right of Bill, or left on your left. Who's that with the hat on?
Robin Harris. Oh, Rudy Ray Moore.
Rudy Ray Moore. Okay.
Martin Lawrence at the bottom too.
Oh, Martin. Okay. Martin.
Who would I want to be on my show?
That's a good question.
Who would you want to open up for you to get it kick-started?
Ooh,
I need to get up again.
that's a hard one.
Because those are all amazing. Wow.
That's a hard one, but I have an answer. It's because I've listened to all of his old stuff and it just shocked me. Because I'm like, this ain't the man that's on TV.
Red Fox.
Red Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would probably go Richard Pryor first, but Red Fox would be my second for sure. Because
Everybody knows where Richard stands. Everybody knows
Yeah.
how Eddie, everybody knows how everybody else is on stage.
Mhm.
But to go to a Red Fox show and be expecting Fred Sanford,
right, yes. It's not Fred Sanford at all.
Totally different.
oh man, he got jokes about 69 and I was just like, oh. So that would be a hell of an icebreaker for Red Fox to be up there. He's a great storyteller. Now just mad respect for everybody on the shirt, just absolute goats. But yeah, Red Fox or Wanda Sykes, that would be beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Rita, we have a game we play. You can get with this and you can get with that. And what that is, it's a way the listeners and myself and Rod can get to know the guests better. We'll ask you a few questions and you choose the one that best fits you. Okay? Nothing is wrong because it's going to be some on here that you can be like, oh man, but nothing is wrong. Would you rather be afraid or be embarrassed?
Afraid.
Why?
Because I can breathe my way out of being afraid.
Okay,
I can
absolutely.
breathe my way out of fear.
That's good.
Well, but if I'm embarrassed, that means it already happened.
Yeah, that's true. Comedian Monique or comedian some more?
Some more.
Why?
I'm just more familiar with S'more's material.
She is hilarious.
She is hilarious, and she liked one of my posts on Instagram. So.
Oh, that'll do it.
But now every time I've seen her, she's been funny.
Yeah. You prefer living in Atlanta or New York?
Neither. Next
Really?
question.
Okay.
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
This is gonna be funny. I can't wait to hear this one. You prefer Frida's cooking or your grandma's cooking?
Well, since my grandmother probably won't listen to this, I'm gonna say Rita's cooking.
You gonna get it. You gonna get it.
My grandmother's hilarious. Like, she don't think vegan food and plant. She don't think that's real food. You know, like
Mama,
if
it's with vegetable.
it's not meat, it's not real food.
It's not real.
Before I'm gonna lose weight. But Frida is an amazing cook. I mean, the girl can really turn it. Oyster mushrooms, like, it's gourmet. Everything is gourmet. Even something simple like an omelet is gourmet. So Frida is an amazing cook, and it makes me feel patriarchal because I'm like, get in that kitchen and stay in that kitchen because you good at it. If a man don't want a woman to be in the kitchen, she can't cook. That's a compliment when a man want a woman to be in the kitchen.
Right. She said she good in this day.
What?
Two drummers because she's a drummer. You prefer Sheila E. or Cindy Blackman?
Ooh.
I know. That's a tough one.
I'll say Sheila E.
I would choose her because her affiliation with Prince, but yeah, go ahead.
That, and she sings and plays like I do.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
But Cindy is outstanding. She is her jazz drumming is.
Yeah, she
Oh,
beast. She's a beast. I know you're on your plant-based journey now, but when you were eating meat, fried chicken or fried fish?
Fried fish. That's
Fried fish. Catfish?
fried hard. Yeah, catfish. But again, Frida fried snapper. She is fried salmon, buffalo.
Salmon is my favorite fish, but I've never had it fried before.
Air fried is good.
Okay. Yeah, I do air fry, but I'm talking about like real fried because some people do fry theirs, and that's weird to me.
Fried snapper, and the buffalo is probably my favorite fish, but you know, it's real bones, a lot of bones.
A lot of bones, yeah. Original Power or Power 2?
Original Power. I haven't even seen Power 2.
Blasphemy, please.
It's
When
good.
I can almost say it's better than Power. It's really,
Without
really
Ghost?
check it out.
Oh, okay. You remember
Tyreek is holding his own. He's holding his own.
You remember when they tried to give a theme song to Trey Songz?
Baby, we lost our mind. I was like, what is this?
Why? What you doing this for?
Or what are you doing? I think 50 do stuff sometimes just to start foolishness because he knew we were going to lose our mind. Keep Joe as the singer. Boy, don't play. Don't do that. We got 3 more. Yolanda Adams or CeCe Winans?
Yolanda Adams.
Why?
Because she can holler on key.
Sure can.
CeCe Wine is real sweet, you know. It make you want to drink wine and read about.
What?
You want to drink wine and read, because you know their music is ambiguous. You don't really know who they singing about, God or they boo. But Yolanda Adams, bad to yo. I'm gonna fall out. Come on, son.
Hilarious. What's your favorite song and also making? Can You Rock Me Like a Pothole or Do the Hoochie Daddy?
Can You Rock Me Like a Pothole?
Yes.
Just because I didn't expect that one to go. I was trying to be funny, but also let these folks know that I can sing a little bit too.
Yeah.
And to date, that is still my most popular song. Children sing it. I get videos every week of babies. Children.
Really?
Yes. Now, I don't encourage them to do it at the school talent show. But you ain't gonna get up to wax my axle. Talent show.
Please
Yeah.
don't, children.
Can You Rock Like a Pothole? That's my first blues / Southern Soul song, and it gave me the bugs. I'm working on the Southern Soul album right now.
That's awesome, Rita. That's awesome. Last but not least, two of your favorites and your friends, Cedric the Entertainer or Rickey Smiley.
What? What you mean I got choose?
See, I already knew it. Ma'am, I told you no answer is wrong.
It's a long one on this one, Rita.
I knew that.
I'm gonna pull a Trump. I'm pleading the fifth.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm pleading the fifth on that one. Both
Okay.
of them. Hashtag both of them.
Hashtag both of them. Well, that you heard it from her. Hashtag both of them. Rita, it has been a pleasure having you on the show. Please tell the listeners how they can follow you on social media, and any other your dates coming up, because like we said, we're sold out on Saturday.
Oh, thank you so much. At Rita Brent Comedy on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. I guess that's it. At Rita Brent Comedy on all of those platforms.
Okay.
If you can't make the show this Saturday, October 15th, I'll be at the Waterview Casino in Vicksburg. That will be my first time headlining a casino.
Okay.
I'm excited about that. And it'll be
What day is that again? October?
Saturday, October 15th.
Okay, I'm having a party, a housewarming, but I'll be there. I'm gonna try to make that one. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that should be fun. And ritabrent.com. I got a lot of stuff coming up with Sid. I'm going to Jamaica for the first time, and I'll be performing with Sid in October 2.
Nice.
Yeah, I got some stuff coming up in Los Angeles and Fort Wayne, Indiana with Rickey. But ritabrent.com, it has the entire schedule on there. And
But you still have the New Orleans show?
yes, that one is in November. I feel like it's November 10th because it is a Veterans Day thing. Yes, November 10th. In New Orleans at the Comedy House. And thank you, Rod, for that recommendation. I appreciate you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Rada, I'm sure you'll be there.
And you ain't
I'll be
getting
there.
commission either. You ain't getting no percentage.
That's fine. That's fine.
Rod, be like, where my commission at?
Right.
I'll get you a drink if you come. Okay.
Right.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, you can follow me on Facebook at She Says She Say Sports, on Instagram She Says She Say Sports 23, on Twitter at She Says She Say 23, and please subscribe to our YouTube page She Says She Say Sports. Well, that's our show for today. Until next time, this is Sonia with She Says She Say Sports.